It's good to get up and move to the right tune, but I gotta wonder if someone has had just a bit too much sugar. The Wyoming All-Stars hosting South Dakota. This game being played in Gillette, first half. Wyoming wearing the gold and down 8-2. Nice finger roll by Colby Wollerman of Bighorn. His Rams had an undefeated season, and he's not used to losing. Home team still trails 8-4. Wyoming clearly had the height advantage in this game, and they'd use it. Andy Martin of Natrona is 7 feet tall, and that makes it pretty easy to get offensive rebounds and putbacks. This game is tied at 8. They played a little defense here and there as well. Aaron Tizer of Buffalo picks a pocket and then takes off the other way. He'll put in a finger roll of his own to cap off an 11-2 run. Wyoming now has the lead 13-10. South Dakota would respond, and they had a hard time missing from behind the arc. That was an NBA range 3 for Luke Roddy of Custer, and the visitors from the other side of the Black Hills would go up 15-13. Of course, not everything went to plan for the opposition. Ryan Tellisford of Spearfish is 5'11", and Taryn Brown of Gillette is 6'8". Do the math, and you'll find a big mismatch, and it will usually end up with a rejection. Sorry, Shorty. Actually, the home team had the biggest and the smallest players on the floor. Blaine Schaefer of Gillette checks in at 5'10". He's not the smallest, but he managed to put in 10 points, and this game is tied back up at 17 points apiece. But the visitors were still lighting it up from behind the arc. Liam Duffy of Rapid City St. Thomas More cashes in with his own 3. We didn't get his totals, but that would give South Dakota a 24-19 lead. Wyoming made sure that things did not get too out of control. Brown is in to clean up the mess on this play. He had quite a game on his home court. We'll tell you his numbers later. Home team still trails 26-23. At this point in the game, the opposition made their big push. Tate Stensgaard of Rapid City Stevens draws the defense in and then finds Joey Mitchell of Tulare open underneath. That would open up their biggest lead of the game. South Dakota was up 11. It's 37-26 at this point. Wyoming then got their act in gear. They just needed someone to provide fuel for the fire. Brown will show why he's going to the University of California, Santa Barbara, and why he's the Wyoming Gatorade Player of the Year. His team trails 37-28. They would get closer. Wollerman has a bit of a rough time on this play, but he would eventually get the bucket. He had 8 points in the game, and it's now 37-30. But Brown was showing what he can do for you and his team, and what he can do with a hand in his face. He's already in double-digit scoring, but there was more to come. Home team still down 37-33. Now, usually all-star games are not known for defense, but Martin did not get that memo. He'll deliver a rejection letter instead, and that's going to make South Dakota think twice before they try that again. Back to the other end. Brown was in the zone. He's lighting the fuse, and here comes the kaboom. Wyoming had ripped off 8 straight points, and they're right back in this game down 37-36. That was not good enough. They wanted more. Martin cans a jumper from the foul line. 12 points for the Mustang, and the home team has reclaimed the lead, up 41-40. This game was played by college rules, and we got just a little bit more time before the break for one more highlight. How about Brown again? If there's such thing as a 4-point shot, I think he just made it. That would cap off an 18-3 run, and Wyoming led 44-42 going into halftime. Second half, South Dakota would regroup. Roddy will take a page out of Brown's book, and it worked that time. The border rivals from the other side go back on top, 47-46. Things went back and forth for a bit, but Wyoming did not mind. Tizer poured in 16 in this game. He made the winning shot in Friday's game at Spearfish with about 2 seconds to go. 48-47 is the score right now. Home team leads. One of the other rules in this game is that you get 6 fouls, so everyone's got 1 to spare. Martin decided to use his on this play. That was a swat worthy of the highlight reel, and one that he's not going to forget anytime soon. Let's get someone new in here. Gillette actually had 3 players in this game. The third was Taylor Holst. He scored 6, including 2 on this bucket after getting a friendly bounce on the rim. Wyoming down 2, 52-50. Who else have we not included? Here comes Jeremy Beeler of Newcastle. He's actually the smallest of them all at 5'8", but he had the speed to make up for it. That fast break bucket would give his team the lead, 57-55. Wyoming was starting to open up some breathing room, and some teamwork was a big part of that. Schaefer dishes the assist to Tizer, who will score in traffic. That made the score 68-63. Although South Dakota was finding a way to hang around, Beeler gets ripped by Stensgaard, who will take it to the far side and finish with a two-handed flush. The opposition tried to keep it close. They're down 71-68. That made Brown a little mad, but instead of going for two, he'll settle for three in front of Stengard's face. 27 points for the Camel graduate. The lead grows to 6, 74-68. There's one last person we have not yet shown for the Wyoming All-Stars. That's Kyle Vinich of Natrona. He'll make his presence felt here on this bucket. He had 4 points total. The scoreboard reads 76-68. Somehow I think the boys were just a little upset that they gave up that dunk, and they would try to respond. Wollerman was a little too eager on this play, and he was a little bit early on his attempt to slam home the rebound. He got called for offensive basket interference, but at this point I don't think he cared too much. Wyoming would eventually get the lead into double digits on their end. Watch the pretty finish by Tizer on this drive, showing off for the camera. The home team now leads 81-70. South Dakota had one last rally in them, so Brown had to take matters into his own hands and provide the momentum killer. Thank you, may I have another please? That made the score 86-80 late in the game. Let's wrap up the action in the Castle of Chaos. Beeler's going to provide the alley, and Tizer's going to come in with the oop on the lay-in to finish off the scoring, as the Wyoming All-Stars would get a weekend sweep over their northeastern border rivals, 88-80.